Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to this video. Now, YouTuber Novabug recently asked people to name, in preparation for his forthcoming Friday Foursome video, 4 female antagonists, after having previously done one asking people to name 4 video protagonists. So people were in his domain were asked to think of 4 villainous feminine characters from video games. This was actually quite tricky for me because I haven't actually played all that many games that contain villainous vixens or otherwise. But here are 4 that I thought of. Number 1, the Berserker from Gears of War. Among the Locust Horde that serve as the protagonists, so the antagonists for the first 3 games, and indeed Gears of War Judgment, none quite cause the player to reel in horror the way that the Berserker does. Her on-point senses of smell and hearing, which compensate the fact that she is either almost or actually blind, depending on which game in the series you're playing. For instance, in the first game, she's totally blind, whereas in the beast mode introduced in Gears of War 3, she's nearly blind. But that coupled with her hulking size, sheer speed, and that terrifying roar that she lets out upon feeling that she knows where you are prior to hearing that high-pitched whine as she hurtles towards where she believes that you are, causing you to fear being trampled underfoot, so you better get that diving dodge mastered before you take her on. You will need it. That her skin is so tough that only exposure to heat sources such as the Scorcher flamethrower that made its debut in the second game, or the Hammer of Dawn that appeared in the first game, which would temporarily soften the skin and make it vulnerable to regular gunfire. Now, number 2 for my list is Irina Morales, from Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas. The Mexican leader of one of her country's terrorist cells, she is as sneaky as she is dangerous. Not only has she managed to get terrorist cells into other countries to attack them prior to the events in the game, but she also leads Rainbow member Logan Keller into an alarming trap whilst on a mission to apprehend her in a nearby border town, giving her enough time to cause mayhem in the City of Sin. She is clearly not a woman to be taken lightly and has more than a few tricks up her sleeve to try and thwart Team Rainbow's mission. Now, the third entry in my list might be quite a bizarre one, but that's actually part of the reason I think it's one worth noting. It's one that I remember really quite well. Honey Miyako from Parodius. This is one of the most memorable female villains that I've come across, not because of obvious evil, but rather because she looks anything but evil when you first encounter her, and even less so when you harm or ultimately defeat her. She comes across as a giant, beautiful, blonde-haired young woman lying in a bed, holding the bedclothes in such a way that she's not exposing too much of the fact that she's completely naked. But as soon as she raises a hand to blow what the player thinks is a kiss, suddenly a whole load of evil imps that cause real problems for the player just absolutely home in on the player and really cause some serious mayhem. There are absolutely loads of them. Only when she's not actually attacking is she vulnerable to being harmed by shooting her in the face. And when she takes a hit, she turns her face towards the camera and audibly moans, almost making you feel bad for harming her. And when you ultimately defeat her, she bursts into tears. A bizarre entry in this list, which leads us neatly on to my 4th and final selection for this list. Queen pulsating, bloated, festering, sweaty, pus-filled, malformed slug for a butt from the first Earthworm Jim game. She's known as Queen Slug for a butt for short. This bulbous boss creature from the first Earthworm Jim is ruler of Insectica, which she turned from paradise into wasteland under her regal reign. Her name, in long or short form, says it all. She's famous for being a huge slug and wanting to get her hands on Jim's supersuit so that she can more easily conquer the entire universe. What is intriguing about her is that Jim has to fight against her backside first, and this is arguably the toughest part of her to defeat. before Jim has to finally go on to defeat the rest of Bit by Bit. So anyway, that's my Friday foursome. Perhaps a couple of bizarre choices in there, but those are the four that I can think of that stuck out considerably amongst the small number of female villains that I've actually come across in games. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll hope to catch you on another video soon, be it on one of my reviews or otherwise. And I hope that Novabug is intrigued by my selection. If you haven't looked at his channel, I'll leave a link for it in the description below. So anyway, catch you on another video soon. Texie88 out.